Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. As Rashonda mentioned, bringing clarity through a plain language definition of all things deemed benefits. I'm going to be your host, Becky Crutchfield, and the Director of Partner Growth and Business Development. And I'm here with my colleague, Eddie Larned, who is our VP of Sales. Eddie, please say hi to everyone.
Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Rashonda. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, Eddie Larned, Vice President of Sales with Clarity Benefit Solutions. I will be helping Becky out with today's continuing education course and also handling and commenting on a couple of the poll questions that we have built into today's presentation. So thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. We're really looking forward to talking about benefits with you.
So here's a look at what we're going to cover. An overview of what employee benefits really means with a breakdown of some of the most commonly offered benefits and some less common ones that are on the rise. We'll also discuss the paradox of benefits and how to find the right balance in your plan. Then we'll describe why complete benefits package is a win-win for you and your employees, and which plan features you should look for when choosing a benefits administration partner. And finally, time permitting, like Eddie said, we're going to answer a few of your burning benefits questions. So get ready, and please put those questions in the chat for us. A few housekeeping rules. I think Rashonda already went over most of these, but we're going to have poll questions that are directly in the presentation. You'll actually have a chance to answer those questions right there on the screen. Anytime you have technical issues or questions, you can put those messages right there in the chat because we have a whole team behind the scenes that is ready to help. We ask that you please respond to as many of the poll questions as possible. We are not judging you, we are not grading, but we do want to hear your opinion on things. So, and then of course, we just want to thank Sherm and thank all of you for being here with us. So let's start with an overview of what we mean when we say employee benefits. Benefits can mean something completely different to every employee, but on a base level, benefits are added perks offered and provided by employers on top of compensation. They can include medical insurance, paid time off, profit sharing, learning and development, retirement benefits, and so much more. Benefits are designed really to enhance the employee's overall compensation package and encourage an employee to work for or stay with the same specific company. Understanding the nuances of employee benefits is crucial for attracting and retaining top talent. All of you know that already. We're not telling you something new. But did you know that 40% of employers say they believe workers leave their job to find employment that offers better benefits? 1 in 10 employees say they would take a pay cut to have access to better benefits. And 80% of employees older than 42 are looking for roles that include employer-covered health care. Now, let's pause for a poll question just to get a sense of our baseline understanding of employees' needs. Eddie, will you take this poll question for us?
Yeah, absolutely, Becky. So this first poll question is, what percentage of employees say they don't fully understand their benefits? You can answer this as A, 20%, B, 40%, C, 60%, or D, 80%. And as Rashonda mentioned earlier and Becky mentioned, please do your best to answer the poll questions here within the widget on the screen as opposed to entering them in the chat. This way we can accumulate everyone's responses and check out these results, which we can discuss here within our session. I see already we've got over 25% of our responses in. We'll wait until this number gets to 50%, giving everyone a few more seconds, and then we'll go ahead and check out the results. All right, let's see what we think. So thank you again for all your responses. Almost 50% of you answered 60%. Followed by 80% with 28% of you. So again, all over the place here, but it's very clear that we can see that there's a lot of employees out there that don't fully understand their benefits. Benefits can be complex, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So thanks again for your participation.
We don't think that the onus should lie completely on the employer for explaining all of these benefits. So we're going to give you some tricks on that here in a little bit. But while I am sure that all of you are pretty well versed in the benefit sphere, let's quickly review some of the most common benefits that employees have come to expect as the standard from their employers. The big three, of course: medical, dental, and vision. These are the most common benefits and are generally offered as a bundle or individually, depending on the organization and plan type. These are more important now than ever, considering that 67% of employees believe this to be the most important benefit. That's medical and health. Only 44% of workers have access to dental benefits. Would you believe that 20% of adults delayed or went without vision care due to the cost? Now, retirement plans and investment options enable employees to save and invest for their future with resources that employees can use no matter where they are in their employment journal. Some common types of these, of course: 401k, simple IRAs, HSA investments, employee pension programs, profit sharing plans, and more. Now, offering these benefits with a competitive match demonstrates your commitment to employees' financial well-being, fostering a positive company culture. Eddie, any thoughts on these?
Yeah, I definitely have thoughts on these. I mean, a lot of folks value, I think, retirement and investment programs from their employer very high. There's uncertainty about the availability of Social Security, 20, 30, 40 years from now, but also the number of organizations or companies that can offer pension programs has reduced significantly from maybe 50 years ago. Now, certainly still there are unions out there that have pension programs, but I think the overall number of companies that offer something like that is significantly reduced compared to the past. So really now the onus is on the employee, the individual, to really plan for their own retirement through things like a 401k and an IRA. Those are certainly your more common long-term retirement, vehicles, if you will. But I also think another one that people sleep on a lot and don't talk about is the HSA, the health savings account. A lot of times people think of an HSA as a short-term tax savings benefit, just like an FSA or some of the other tax savings vehicles. But, Becky and I have done a CE about HSAs in the past. And really, for a lot of the feedback we received was that it was very eye-opening, because you can really take advantage of the triple tax advantage of the HSA, but also invest your funds for years and years. There's unlimited rollover. It's a bank account. The money belongs to the individual, the account holder, even if they change employers or change medical plans. And then once you turn 65, you can take the funds out and use them for anything and just pay taxes on them, but no penalty. So I think that's just a creative way of adding yet another investment or retirement vehicle, and certainly not suggesting that it would replace a 401k or simple IRA. But for those who can afford to max those out, it can just be another great benefit to add to. Now, all that being said, I've certainly seen, articles that the younger generation is not as enthusiastic about retirement and saving and investing for retirement as other generations have been. They're more like spend now and have great experiences. I don't know. I guess it's all personal opinion. I think that's crazy. I think we should all always have our long-term and our retirement plan, in place. And I think these, different accounts here on the screen will help you save taxes in the, immediate future, and then also have a really strong plan for the long term, where otherwise there's a little bit of uncertainty.
Thanks, Eddie. So often offered under a high deductible health plan, these consumer-driven benefits allow employees to set aside pre-tax funds in designated accounts to cover eligible healthcare expenses. Now, some common types include flexible spending accounts, otherwise known as FSAs, health savings accounts, like Eddie was talking about, HSAs, health reimbursement arrangements, HRAs, dependent care FSAs, which are DCAs, as well as pre-tax transit and parking. Offering these benefits means your employees can tailor their benefit usage to their individual needs. So, Eddie, when you're out in the field, are you seeing these types of accounts?
I definitely am. And I'm seeing more and more employers offer these types of benefits. But even as employers offer them and do a great job promoting them and communicating them to employees, you still see some employees are hesitant to dive in and take advantage of these great benefits. One statistic in particular comes to mind. Last year in the United States, people spent more than $500 billion on out-of-pocket medical costs. Out of that $500 billion, only about 19 or 20% of it was done pre-tax through some of these programs like FSA and HSA, which means there's a ton of money being left on the table. That's an extra $400 billion that went to the federal government or was taxed by the federal government instead of keeping money in the consumer's pocket. So I think it's important, these benefits, look, there's a lot of acronyms here on the screen. We know benefits can be confusing. As that first poll question suggested, the answer to that, by the way, was 80% of employees, feel that benefits can be confusing. So I think it's our job to, leverage communication and technology and decision support, all of the things that we're going to talk about later on in today's discussion, to try to promote these benefits and give employees real life examples. Meaning, if you contribute $5,000 to your dependent care account and you contribute $2,000 to your pre-tax commuter benefit and $3,000 to your FSA, all of a sudden you've reduced your taxable income by $9,000 or $10,000 or $11,000, and you take 30 or 35% off of that, you're talking about well over $3,000 in tax savings. So I always try to give employees, when I'm speaking with them, a real life example and say, hey, do you have daycare costs? Do you have predictable medical, dental, vision costs for yourself and your family? Are you taking mass transit to and from work? If the answer is yes to any of those, then it's a no-brainer for the employee to enroll in this benefit. And best part of all of this is that the employer is also usually saving at least 7.65% on every dollar that's contributed through payroll pre-tax. And that usually neutralizes all costs for the administration of these different benefits. So you're offering a great tax-advantaged savings vehicle to your employees, usually at little to no cost. I think it's a home run.
Thanks, Eddie. Definitely a win here. So here are some common supplementary and voluntary benefits that help round out a complete benefits package that addresses and meets employees' essential needs. It fosters loyalty. It contributes to a positive work environment. They are life insurance, disability, wellness programs, paid time off, employee development programs, workplace flexibility benefits. That's certainly one that's come into play in the last couple of years. Eddie, any other common benefits come to mind?
Yeah, I think over the last couple of years, a benefit that has become more and more popular is what's called lifestyle accounts. And that's a pretty broad term, but lifestyle account can mean a lot of different things, and it means different things to different individuals. But it's a nice way of, I guess, you could say, customizing your overall benefits offering. It could be for things like tuition reimbursement, student loan reimbursement. It could be for a gym membership or buying a Peloton or new sneakers. And it doesn't just have to be, oh, everyone gets $500 to use for these types of expenses. You can also put incentives in place and get really creative with it. So it depends on an employer's goal, both what their financial goal is, their benefits goals. But if you can understand what those goals are, you can really cater a lifestyle account to fill those needs and create a nice incentive program that encourages a certain type of behavior. For example, if you run a 5K, you get $100. If you run a 10K, you get $200. You take a BMI test, you get another $100. And you can use these things for anything related to, your physical health, your physical well-being. Like I said, a yoga class, a gym membership, running sneakers. These are all things that an employer can really craft themselves. And rewind 3 years ago, people were maybe talking about it, but you didn't see many organizations actually implementing those types of benefits. And then today, you see it, we're asked about it all the time, and companies are getting really creative, kind of using it to fill a gap or create something special within their overall benefits package.
Yeah, pay me $100 and it'll be a lot easier for me to run a 5K.
That's right.
Eddie, how about another poll question real quick?
Sure. So next poll question is, what percentage of employees named life insurance as their top benefit must have? You can answer this as A, 25%, B, 45%, C, 65%, or D, 85%. So let's give everyone 10 or 15 seconds to think about this and go ahead and submit an answer. We'll check out the results and then I will hand it back to Becky. And remember, there's not really any right or wrong answer here. We're just trying to gauge your thoughts or guesses on, what you think employees are prioritizing with their benefits.
It's so great to get a chance to be visiting virtually here with these employers that really have a pulse on what their employees are looking for. So I feel like this is some really great data, great information.
Yeah, always interesting to hear everyone's feedback. So looks like we have more than 50% of our answers back in, and we are at about 57% of folks answered that it's 25% have employees have named life insurance their top benefit must have, followed by 45%, which actually is the correct answer based on a study. That is surprising to me. I would have guessed along with the 25% here, but I guess life insurance is a priority for almost half of employees. And I guess it's important for folks to have that peace of mind that their families will be taken care of should anything happen to them. So always interesting, and we certainly do see a lot of employers that offer life insurance in one capacity or another. But to see that it's this much of a priority for a lot of folks is definitely interesting.
All right, so now that we've recapped some of the most common benefit types, let's dive into some less commonly offered benefits that are currently in demand. When it comes to today's job market, employees no longer want just the basics. They want to work for a company that not only offers a competitive salary, but that offers inclusive and innovative benefits that go beyond their standard needs. Now, here are some less common but very attractive benefits that employees increasingly ask for. Okay, let's say pet insurance and a pet-friendly workplace, prescription pharmacy assistance, travel and commuter benefits, two things that are related but could be totally different, right? Remote workplace stipends, volunteer programs, fertility assistance, backup childcare, gender reassignment support, health and wellness stipends, employee discount programs. Eddie, any more benefits you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, I'll comment on one or two of these that I think is interesting, but also another one that I've started to hear a little bit about is cell phone reimbursement each month, or cell phone, stipend or credit, if you will. With so many folks working from home these days, a lot of folks get their emails and do so much work on their cell phone. They're the ones paying the bill in many cases, not all, but doing a lot of work on their phones. So, if you're an employer and you can afford to offer, say, $100 a month just to chip away at that cell phone cost, and employees are utilizing it for work purposes at least part of the time, I think that's a creative solution. The travel and commuter one is interesting. I have definitely seen for a couple of years now the commuter benefit one, where it's like if you come to work 3 days a week, 5 days a week, we'll give you, say, $100 towards mass transit, or we will reimburse the entire amount. I've even seen one through kind of a lifestyle account. And the reason I say lifestyle instead of pre-tax commuters, because tolls are not eligible under pre-tax commuter benefit, nor is gas. But doing so through a lifestyle account would allow you to cover things like toll and gas, especially as things get more and more expensive. So I think that's creative, again, especially if you're trying to incentivize folks to go to and from the office. And then another one that's interesting is that travel component. I actually heard someone talk about that this week, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty awesome benefit. But the idea behind it was, for every year you work with the company, say you get like $1,000 at the end of the year, or $500 at the end of the year towards a vacation for yourself and your family. And work-life balance has become a lot more important, I think, in the last couple of years. And we'll talk about the American culture of the grind and working as much as you can. But lately it's like burnout is a concern, and work-life balance. So if you can incentivize people and offer something unique and cool, like a travel credit for when they're on their PTO. I think that's definitely an interesting idea. And what a great way to not only, bring in some talented employees, but also retain those talented employees. I mean, if you have some unique benefits like that, again, if it fits your budget, employees, I think, will be inclined to stay.
All right. How about another poll question then?
All right. Another poll question. How many of these uncommon benefits that we just listed or talked about on the prior slide does your organization offer? You can answer this as 0, which is A. You can answer this as B, 1 to 3. You can answer this as C, 4 to 6, or D, which is 7 or more. So again, we realize these are a little bit more uncommon, but always curious to hear what you're seeing in the market. So we'll give everyone a couple seconds to answer this. As I said earlier, there's definitely no right or wrong answer. Just always curious to see what is happening in the market and see what some of these trends are. And while we're waiting on that, I saw a really great suggestion or comment here in the Q&A. Mental health care outside of the usual medical coverage. That's another benefit, I should say, that is getting more and more popular with reason, obviously. That's a terrific benefit. You don't want people to feel like there's a cap on their mental health visits. So I love that idea. We've actually been involved with helping some employers set up a program similar to that, just making sure that there is no cap when it comes to the mental health services and visits. All right, so we have almost 60% of our responses in. Again, thank you for your participation. And wow, great to see 60% of you responded with 1 to 3 of those uncommon benefits is already being offered by your organization. So you can see that there's a trend. I bet if we asked the same question 5 years ago, we'd see far fewer organizations offering these types of benefits. Or even 10 years ago, it was like, all right, what's the medical, dental, and vision, and that was, and retirement. So now it's great to see that folks are getting very creative and providing some customized plan offerings for their benefits.
So in the last few years, the employment sector has dramatically changed. Employees have defined exactly what they want and what they're willing to do to get the benefits they need. This has caused HR professionals to rethink the hiring process, offering new and innovative benefits and more transparency into things like pay equity and inclusive benefits. But when it comes to adding these benefits, there are a few roadblocks employers may encounter, like new concepts, changing needs, lack of interest, and high cost. Many organizations may have had a similar benefit plan for years and have yet to gauge how their employees' needs have changed, stopping them from learning about or adding more inclusive benefits. Similarly, interest levels and high costs can be quick determining factors for why a benefit is left out. If there isn't enough interest or the cost is too high, many organizations may choose just to spend their budgets on the areas that they know their employees will get the most benefit from. By incorporating these less common types of benefits into your overall offerings, you demonstrate a progressive and employee-centric approach to workplace culture. In fact, 77% of employees are more likely to stay with the company that provides a comprehensive benefits package. Now, embracing emerging trends in employee benefits helps attract and retain top talent. It fosters a positive and inclusive work environment and addresses the evolving needs and expectations of a diverse workforce. So now that we have reviewed the most common and less common types of benefits, let's talk a bit about the paradox of benefits. We'll break down what it is and how it has many employers struggling just to find the right balance. With so many options to choose from, it's easy for employers and employees to struggle to decide which plans are the best fit for them. This lack of confidence can lead to added stress for both employers and employees. Plus, employers can struggle to balance cost and the value of their benefit plans and must find a happy medium between employee flexibility and remaining compliant and consistent with the diverse employee population. Eddie, what do you think about this whole paradox here?
Yeah, I mean, this is brutal, right? This is so challenging for employers to find this balance. On one hand, employees are like, I want more benefits, better benefits. You got some employees asking for pet insurance, other employees asking for more PTO or unlimited PTO. Other employees more focused on the retirement. Why isn't our 401k match higher? So everyone seems to want more and want different things. But then you see a statistic like this, and everyone, you all as HR professionals, I know you hear this, where employees come and say, I'm overwhelmed. There are too many options, or I don't understand my benefits. So how do you find that nice, healthy balance? What are some strategies that, you can find with your partners, your brokers, your consultants, to be able to, address that and handle that paradox. So I think we're going to talk about some of those things, but I definitely feel for you, HR professionals. You try to listen to employees' feedback and provide more benefits, fit it all within a budget, and then they say they're overwhelmed with too many options. So always a challenge, but I think we have some suggestions, some ideas that can help handle that.
Yeah, I think you nailed it here, Eddie. Not only is building a benefits plan a stressful task, it can also be just as complex and overwhelming for both HR professionals and employees to manage a complete benefits program with all of its varying components. Here are just a few of the common challenges that come along with managing benefits. How about too many logins? I mean, with lots of programs come lots of logins, right? Too many points of contact. Who do I call if I want this or that, right? Lack of communication, or just figuring out how to communicate all of these benefits. So any ideas on how we can eliminate some of these challenges, Eddie?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen kind of a shift over the last couple of years as far as benefits partners go. And to address too many logins, it's the single sign-on portal, right? Or SSO. I feel like this is a term that is thrown around all the time, and not everyone, either knows what it means, or maybe people have different definitions of what it means. But to me, it's as simple as reducing the amount of logins, and maybe that has to do with consolidation, which fits into that second bullet point. But even with consolidation, sometimes you have one benefits partner that might be handling different components of the benefits package, and you need 3 different usernames and passwords to access the information and access different systems or different portals or different parts of the portal. And that's frustrating. I mean, we all have those lists of our passwords somewhere, and they're hard to remember. So I think it's important to find a partner that, leverages single sign-on, provides some form of consolidation, instead of, maybe having, 20 different benefits partners, bringing that number down to 7, or 5, or whatever, number analogy you want to use. But it's just going to make it easier for you all as administrators, but also easier on the participant and their day-to-day experience, which in turn, is fewer phone calls to you, fewer emails, fewer people knocking on your door, because they're happier with their benefits experience. It's easier for them to navigate. And then lack of communication. I mean, this is a tough one, because I've been involved with so many terrific organizations that do such a great job at open enrollment, and they provide all these terrific resources. They do in-person and virtual open enrollment meetings. They do Q&A sessions. They record the meetings, and employees still don't show up, or they still don't, pay attention. And also, I get it from the employee perspective. When you go through open enrollment, you listen, but 6 months go by, and that's the first time, you have a toothache and you have to leverage your dental plan or something like that, and you forgot a lot of it. So I think leveraging technology for things like an intranet, or posting, a recording of those open enrollment sessions, or sending out monthly or quarterly promotional emails saying, don't forget about, your legal and life policies. Just little reminders like that to get folks to, remember to utilize their benefits can go a long way. But a lot of times it makes me think of the phrase, you can only lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. We go through so much to provide the communication and the education, but sometimes the employees also need to help themselves. I think what we need to do is just make information accessible, and consistently promote it. And that way employees can have it fresh in their mind, and they can make the most out of their benefits.
Perfect. On to another poll question.
All right. Another poll question. Here's an interesting one. Who do you turn to for your benefits advice? So you can answer this as A, SHRM, of course, where, thank you, SHRM, for having us on today. B, your third-party administrator. C, your colleagues and coworkers. D, Google. And E, benefits broker or consultant. So again, we'll give everyone just a couple of seconds to go ahead and answer this. There is no right or wrong answer here. Just good to hear folks' feedback as far as where you get your benefits advice. I'm sure it's a combination of these things, but always good to see what I guess your primary resource is. Okay. Lots of great results here. We'll check out the results. Also, lots of great comments here in the comments section. I can't wait to touch on a few of these items later on in the presentation. We'll also try to address as many of these questions before 5 o'clock Eastern when we wrap up. All right, so we have a very healthy mix here, and no surprise here, benefits broker and consultant at over 62%, leading the way. They're benefits and professionals, right? And insurance professionals, we rely on them so heavily. Their job is so crucial. So great to hear that. It sounds like folks have a lot of confidence too in their benefits broker and consultant. We know that's an incredibly competitive role, and there are a lot of terrific resources and terrific brokerages and brokers out there. So great to hear that you're leveraging them as a great resource.
So the next part, navigating the balance of benefits. To overcome benefit challenges, we're going to break down 4 strategies that you can deploy that not only help simplify your workload, but offer innovative solutions to help your employees get the most out of their benefits. The first strategy you can use is to choose a connective benefits administration platform. It's best to utilize technology that seamlessly connects your individual benefit plans into one easy-to-use platform, not only for you, but for your employees, that helps you optimize your time and efforts. Eddie, what does this mean to you, really?
Yeah, well, I think you put it really well there, Becky. Utilizing technology that seamlessly connects the benefits plans to a platform, right? So to me, that's almost the definition of integration. And what that means to me is reducing the amount of manual data entry and redundant data entry really on your behalf as HR professionals. But that has a trickle-down effect to the participant. Obviously, what that does is reduces the room for manual human error, but also makes things happen much faster and cleaner and fewer touches. So let me give you an example. Your system of record is payroll. You enter a new hire in payroll. That information automatically feeds over to your benefits administration or Ben Admin platform. After your benefits waiting period, it triggers open enrollment. The employee goes in and picks this medical plan, that dental plan, signs up for life insurance, chooses the FSA, the pre-tax transit benefit, a couple of other benefits, and hits submit. That information is then fed off automatically to every other party. It automatically orders an FSA debit card from your third-party administrator. It automatically enrolls them in the medical plan and the dental plan. It automatically sends them welcome emails for any other benefits that they have enrolled in and gives them one main hub to access all their information, but that communicates seamlessly with those other systems. So to me, that's what integration can accomplish. It makes everyone who's on here as HR professionals, your life easier, and it also ensures much cleaner, more accurate data, which is obviously essential to what we do every day.
When choosing a platform, ensure that it includes comprehensive compliance for medical, dental, vision, life, disability, FSA, HSA, HRA, and dependent care, DCA. This will help eliminate the stress of having to perform these tasks separately. Eddie, is this even possible?
Yeah, it is, Becky. Compliance is huge. We've all heard horror stories out there of someone who didn't get their COBRA letter out or didn't have an ERISA wrap document, and all of a sudden they get a random DOL, maybe random, DOL audit, and now they're facing huge fines. We've all heard those stories. Hopefully no one, on today's, CE has experienced that, but they are out there. So I think it is really important to find a partner that can, stay on top of these things and outsource compliance as much as possible so you can keep your your hands off of it and away from compliance and have it be automated. Those are things like COBRA administration. Again, like I mentioned, the automation and integration between platforms. You want to be able to enter that termination in payroll and have it automatically trigger the COBRA notice, so you didn't have to do anything manually. That's thinking smarter and leveraging technology to automate things. You have things like non-discrimination testing for FSA and Section 125 and dependent care accounts. You have substantiation of FSA and HRA debit card charges. You have plan documents that need to be on file. You have PCORI fees with HRA. You could go on and on. ERISA 5500 plan documents. So there's a lot when it comes to compliance, a lot of stuff that you just, deal with maybe once or twice a year instead of on the day-to-day, but is important and does have to be on file. So that's where I think you can find a good partner and have all of those things addressed by one partner, as opposed to kind of scattered all over the place. And hopefully it's something that you don't have to worry about on a regular basis.
Next, choose a platform that shows you and your employees an always up-to-date viewing of their benefit portfolio. Choose a platform that offers industry-leading educational tools that help employees debunk the complexities of benefits. Plus, you get to save the trouble of having to create and distribute them yourselves. Eddie, what kind of tools are we talking about here?
Yeah, I think decision support is definitely an important one. And that doesn't necessarily have to be human decision support, like you get on a phone and talk to someone who's an expert in enrolling folks in different benefits, but leveraging technology as far as decision support goes. Usually that's incorporated or oftentimes incorporated to a benefits administration platform. There's certainly different levels of capabilities there when it comes to decision support. Is it asking you a couple of different questions, like a survey that you answer and it suggests a benefit, using technology? Or is it something more like, do you have a question on what is an FSA or which plan is best for me? Things like that. So I think having decision support is a big one, but also accessibility, having access to the benefits administration platform or the payroll platform, whatever it might be, through your smartphone or through your tablet. I think that goes a long way. And, understanding we need to meet employees where they are as far as providing that type of support and those resources.
Thanks, Eddie. So the final strategy is combine all your benefits. When you combine all your benefits into one easy-to-use platform, you and your employees benefit from one singular point of access. That means no more juggling multiple logins or accounts, just one simple platform that houses everything that you need. Eddie, this sounds like a dream. So tell me if we can do this somehow.
Yeah, it really does, Becky. I think consolidation goes a long way. Obviously, you want the best in class for every benefit, which sometimes that has to be spread out over multiple partners. But sometimes you'll find a partner that does offer a lot of different benefits all in one package. Like we said, one single sign-on portal, maybe one point of contact for the HR team. Just providing that consolidation. A lot of times that can be a cost savings measure too. Instead of having this company do ACA and that company do COBRA and that company do benefits administration, things can get clunky. Things can be all over the place for participants. So I think it's always nice to be able to consolidate when it makes sense and when it's possible and when you found a strong partner.
Thanks, Eddie. So let's test your knowledge and get another poll question in.
All right. So next question, what percentage of companies rely on outsourcing for their HR operations? You can answer this as A, 20%, B, 40%, C, 60%, and D, 80%. And I don't think that just means outsourcing just HR necessarily. I think that means, other aspects of it. It could be the technology portion and having partners that help, I guess, with some of that day-to-day functioning. All right, we are almost at 50%. Let's go ahead and see how folks felt about this question. Wow, you guys got this one right. At 46% of you answered 40%, and that is the correct answer. So almost half of all employers do outsource some combination of their HR services. So thanks again for your participation there.
How many of you want to, on a day-to-day basis, outsource it?
There's the real question.
So offering a comprehensive and complete benefits package brings a multitude of advantages for both employers and employees. Now let's dive deeper into the most impactful results that you can see when you offer comprehensive benefits. Behind higher pay, better benefits is the second biggest contributing factor to why people look for new jobs. Employees who feel valued and supported through their benefits are more likely to stay with the organization for the long term. We know that, reducing turnover and leading to higher business profitability. Eddie, really this just benefits is the second highest contributing factor?
Yeah, it sounds extreme at first, but I think it's true, and I can actually think of a couple examples in my life where this has proven to be true. I have friends that she blatantly said, she's like, I don't like my job, I am bored. It's a good company, but this just I would look elsewhere. However, my company is paying for IVF and infertility and that sort of thing, and I want to have a kid, so I'm not going anywhere. And she's still there, and that conversation was probably 3 years ago. So I think that's one example. Another example is stock options. A lot of times stock options, and not every company can do this, we certainly understand that, but just as an example, they might take 3 or 5 years to vest over time. And once you have someone who's given thousands of dollars worth of stock options, but knows they have to stay on board for X amount of time, they're probably not going anywhere either. So, especially as folks have families and, it's not just themselves that they're looking out for. And also maybe they don't have the risk tolerance that they did when they were 25. I think they're less likely to go out and shop around, and, just an increase in salary by $10,000 might not be as important to them as having the most robust benefits package. So definitely can see examples of this in real life.
So when employees have access to health and wellness benefits that align with their needs, they feel supported and valued by the organization. This in turn lowers absenteeism, boosts morale, job satisfaction, and just overall well-being. Highly engaged workplaces are 21% more profitable and 17% more productive. Did you know 40% of Americans would struggle to cover a $400 emergency expense? Complete benefits offer added protection against unexpected healthcare expenses, provide a safety net during retirement, and mitigate the financial risks associated with life events. When employees have peace of mind regarding their financial well-being, they can focus on their work and reduce stress and anxiety. Burnout is an ongoing issue for employees in nearly all industries. 83% of employees say burnout at work can negatively impact their personal relationships. A complete benefit package includes offerings that support work-life balances. Planned time, paid time off, flexible work arrangements, and wellness programs contribute to a healthier integration of personal and professional lives. Eddie, so what do you think about this? Let's talk a little bit about the work life and the grind.
Yeah, this I kind of referred to briefly earlier, but I'm sure everyone is aware, the terms, the grind, the hustle, right? It's, I think Europeans look at us and they have great work-life balance and are like, these Americans, like they're all about just work and overworking. And I think that there's been a really big shift in the last 5 years especially, but possibly even longer. And I think it's a combination of things like the pandemic, and folks getting that experience of working from home and having a little bit better of a work-life balance. If you finish work at 5, you're with your family at 5:05 or 5:01 for that matter, as opposed to being on the train or in the car for another hour and a half to get home. So things like that. I think things like PTO have also gotten more important. Had another conversation this week where 40 years ago, it was frowned upon when you're doing an interview to ask what the PTO policy was, because then it showed that that was more important to you than the work and working towards a promotion. And in today's world, I don't think that is as frowned upon. We all heard of, the quiet quitting, but then it turned into, I forget the exact phrase, lazy girl work or whatever the term was that was popular for a period of time. And I think with the younger generation coming into the workforce, and burnout has really turned into something that is people have their eyes on and impacts work culture. And I know, as even a manager, when I see someone on my team who, is having a tough time, and I realize, geez, they haven't taken a single day of PTO in 6 months, sometimes you have to sit down with someone and say, look, we have PTO for a reason. Please use it. We don't want you getting burnt out. We want you to feel 100% when you're getting here. And I love the term, recharge the batteries. You step away for a week, you go on vacation, you get a break. So I think all of that is important, but burnout is definitely something that we're talking about more. And it also aligns with mental health. And I think that's certainly important and helps us get the most out of our employees.
A comprehensive benefits package helps shape a strong employer brand and company culture. Here are just a few of the advantages of a strong culture. Happier employees, higher engagement, more focused workforce. Your organization will definitely be seen as an industry leader. And let's ask one final poll question, Eddie.
Right, last poll question. What percentage of workers consider a company's culture before seeking employment? Very curious to hear your responses on this. Culture is something that here at Clarity we emphasize quite a bit, and I know a lot of organizations that we work with do as well. So always curious to see how folks feel about this. So we'll give you a couple more seconds just to think about this one, give it your best guess, and I'll hand it back to Becky to wrap us up here. Right, looks like we have almost 50% of our responses in. Again, you could have answered this as A, 22%, B, 41%, C, 59%, and D, 77%. Let's go check out the results. What percentage of workers consider a company's culture before seeking employment? And you all guessed it right once again. We have a very knowledgeable group today. 43% of you, the highest response rate, guessed 77%. And that is the correct answer. And again, I think there's definitely been a shift from, maybe 10 or 20 years ago. Sure, culture's been important for a long time, but I think there was a period of time when people would say, I'm going with wherever the best salary is, where I can make the most money. I know there's certainly people that is their priority these days, understandably so. But you can see based off that study, that company culture is very important to people as well.
So now that we've detailed all the different kinds of benefits and the advantages of combining them into one complete and integrated plan, you may ask, well, what's next? Well, in this next and final section, we're going to break down 3 key things to look for when searching for the right benefits partner, just to help you bring all of these pieces together. So what should employers look for in a benefits partner? Technology should always be number one. Look for an administrator with state-of-the-art technology that easily combines all of your benefits into one platform with one login to manage, providing seamless connections to insurance carriers, payroll companies, and consumer-directed plan benefits. Eddie, any comments here?
Yeah, we talked about integration and single sign-on before. I won't beat a dead horse and go over it all again. What I will say is it's 2023. Keep in mind that some of the technology platforms that are out there for employee benefits are now 20 years old or 15 years old. They weren't necessarily built for some of the ways that benefits work today or some of the legislation that's taken place over the years that has adjusted employee benefits. 5-6 years ago, no one was talking about something like a lifestyle account. And before that, 20 years ago, state continuation, things like that, things have changed. So like you said, technology is huge. We use it in our daily lives all the time. It's a priority. Just keep in mind that some technology is going to be stronger than others.
And even if your HR team is not real technologically savvy, that's the beauty of technology, is it's designed to make it easy for the user. So keep that in mind. Employers need a benefits partner that supplies excellent service, including tools that make it easy for employees to track and process claims and facilitate enrollment in education. Look for a partner with a proven track record of exceptional and responsive support from the team of experts. Then, if available, find the organization's NPS score to see how likely their clients are to recommend their services. The industry standard for benefits NPS score is 14. So the best practice is to find a partner with an NPS score that's well above average. Eddie, are they out there?
Yeah, all good points, Becky. I definitely think they are out there. As the statistics from earlier stated, benefits are confusing. We do our best to educate employees and provide communication during open enrollment and throughout the year. But sometimes it just takes someone to walk an employee through the details of a situation or explain the differences between HSA, HRA, FSA, DCA, too many acronyms. So I think that shouldn't rest entirely on the shoulders of HR professionals. We talked about outsourcing, find strong partners that pick up the phone, that can speak in multiple different languages, can leverage technology, meet employees where they are, and give them the resources that they need to utilize their benefits and feel comfortable about them, because that's what they are, right? Benefits, and we want people to use them. You all do so much work throughout the course of the year to provide the strongest benefits package possible. Let's make sure we have the resources to help employees access them.
Thanks, Eddie. So we said technology, service, now solutions. Partners who offer a range of products and solutions with the ability to customize them with creative plan designs. And these are extremely valuable to HR professionals. Here are a few solutions to consider when choosing the right administrator. Comprehensive employee benefits, simple compliance, configurable administration, automated claims, optimized investment models. Eddie, what does this mean?
Yep. It means, that these great things are out there and they don't necessarily have to be spread out among multiple different partners. There are administrators that can bring a lot of this together in one consolidated location with one singular point of contact and with full automation into other platforms and integration with other systems like payroll. So there's definitely an opportunity to bring this to your employees and partners. And I think that's the direction that the industry is going.
So working with a company that provides integrated eligibility, enrollment, compliance, and management of benefits helps employers, the HR staff, and employees more easily navigate the often complex world of benefits. A TPA can help you connect all of your benefits into one easy-to-use platform and will help manage everything from payroll to compliance. Eddie, any more comments about these before we go to questions?
I think we pretty much hit on everything. I think it's leveraging great technology along with a terrific service experience, someone who's reliable when it comes to compliance and protecting an employer's interest and liabilities. Reducing cost and saving you all time, right? Because there's hard dollar savings, but there's also the soft dollar savings, and letting organizations focus on their core competencies and what they do best to, benefit their partners and make money. So let's not forget about the time and, the eliminating the redundancy. That's all important and all goes into this total package.
Okay. Eddie, you want to address any of these questions before we close up?
Yeah. So let's see. We have a couple different comments and questions here. One comment is, I feel like burnout is more than just work-life balance. It can be the environment as well. Completely agree with that statement. That is a great point. Just having unlimited vacation and, working remotely isn't necessarily going to eliminate burnout. You have to have effective management. You have to have a strong internal culture. So definitely, a great point. And certainly didn't want to imply that you can just, throw PTO and remote work and all of a sudden burnout will go away. There's definitely a lot of different components to it. Any suggestions when you have a global workforce? That is definitely a tricky one, especially as you're dealing with employees across different countries, different continents, different regulations from one country to another. A lot of times, some of the insurance brokers and consultants that we've worked with, they can be experts in that area, or they might have a division of their organization that has solutions across the entire globe. So that's a little bit out of my personal area of expertise, but I do, we certainly know some terrific brokerages that have some terrific solutions there. And a lot of times the payroll platforms or the benefits administration platforms do have tools or modules that can be leveraged to, work, across the globe. Internet reimbursement, since we work from home a lot, I love that idea. I definitely think that's applicable, especially because, you want to have strong internet connection, right? We're on Zooms and webinars and, conversations over the internet all day. We want it to be strong, but not everyone can afford to buy up to that top level of internet. I love the idea, kind of falls in the lifestyle account range to give folks an internet reimbursement. And another person pointed out, we leverage our EAP program. That's actually one benefit I don't think we touched on today. So I'm really glad this individual mentioned that in the comments. The employee assistance programs, I think, have gotten very popular in the last couple of years. I know that I've leveraged them personally, and things like, the virtual doctor visits and things like that, and Legal Shield and those sorts of programs can be really valuable. So all really good points and really good comments. But with that being said, it is pretty much 5 o'clock East Coast time here. So I'd like to just take this opportunity to thank you, Becky, for leading us on today's SHRM discussion. And also thanks, SHRM. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all so much.